Hi everyone, I'm Chia Jingchen. Today I would like to present about child labor in city confectionery. So let's start off with the background of the case. A Southeast Asian largest confectionery company recently moved into a whole new international market, able to gain 20% of sales internationally by partnering with BB's House Snacks as confectionery first step of internationalization. However, the issue floats up when BB's found out a child packing a biscuits in a warehouse during a Zoom call with the confectionery supplier. Hence, this makes BB representative feel concerned about it and then report to their upper management regarding these serious case issues. Before diving into deeper understanding and details, I would like to share you guys my role as a Chief Financial Officer of this case study. I have to provide recommendation to BB Salesnet on business partnerships, analyze the potential stakeholders' impact and ethical learnings from the case, and also focusing on the financial impact of the confectionery. And most importantly, the purpose of this presentation is to focus on what I have learned from this roleplay during the class and provide ethical decisions and demonstrate personal learnings and how I would apply it to the future applications and also understanding the cultural biases and differences. Let's start off with the recommendations. For the role play discussion, we have come up with a few recommendations to solve the issues, which is confectionery can have a code of conduct for the child labor. This helps protecting the company's suppliers' reputation while maintaining a partnerships with BBs as it's an important partnerships. Next solutions can be confectionery could try to partner with BBs to support the children tuition fee, daily essentials by working alongside with the NGOs. Third is implementing a strong monitoring system in the company that monitors making sure employee follows the rules and policies. Last but not least is confectionery could give a less stressful work for the children if really have to work to provide for the family. Next is the interesting ethical perspective. I learned that some ethical perspective can be connected with the case study. First is the utilitarianism. It refers to actions that are acceptable regardless of the motive as long as the good outcomes are better than the bad ones. This refers to the confectionery continues the partnership with strict conditions like codes that can minimize the harm and balance the goods between all the stakeholders. Next is the stakeholders theory. It refers to conceptualize business as a network generating value, relationships among the stakeholders with a legitimate interest and the actual good outcomes of the firm. Connecting with the case, it's important for confectionery to consider all the stakeholders like children, BB's part perspective. Last is the virtue ethics. It can be means by the character moral that focus on the action consequences. Moving on is the stakeholders' impact. First is the children and their families. The families that rely children for their income are still at risk. Babies have snacks, they might face reputational damage and short-term financial loss, which same goes with confectionery. Plus the worker might quit the job due to unstable income, and customer might increase trust in both companies thanking for their ethical changes and better decision making while considering for the children on and every party perspective. Let's take a break from work and see some cool pictures. Here are two pictures taken on the day of the roleplay. Moving back on, here's the next slide is the cultural rules and biases. I understand that different countries will have different rules. Same goes with different races will have different norms and culture. Confectionery is Southeast Asian and are more acceptable for children to work such as Indonesia and Philippines. Meanwhile, in Australia, they are more biased on child labor. And to connect with the biases are the Asian culture might be economic survival and the family contributions are part of the reality and they don't mind if the children is working or not or the child labor issues. But Asian, they might feel biased when Western companies don't understand the struggle for them and judge them because of it. For Australia, they might feel biased that they assume the suppliers in developing regions they are violating ethical standards. Next is the empathy towards the parties. We can see from the issue all the parties were affected. I show empathy towards the family who rely on children income may face difficulty and challenges as well, understanding that children have to work to support for the families. And also the confectionery and BB's have snacks reputation might get damages. Moving on is the example of experiences. I have asked for recommendations on what to do ethically while trying to maintain partnerships with BBs. I also understand that the financial situation is important, but I applied different ethical thinking into the case. I realized the importance of ethical conduct and I have implemented it into giving the recommendations for a confectionery. And then finally, I personally think if a company wants to implement codes of conduct without strong advertising will not work, which the company needs to focus on. For the lessons I have learned from this roleplay, as a CFO, I learned that it is important to care about employee well-being, especially income as to survive on daily basis. And also I need to give fully support towards my team, especially CEO of the company, to help do the work correctly and smoothly. Make ethical decisions carefully and understand the cultural difference and consider different thinking when making decisions. Stepping towards into the future career as the fresh graduates, I found that making ethical decisions requires me not only like the company sides but also towards the other stakeholders like the children and the partners. Other than this role play, I also prepares myself as a fresh graduate to make better decisions in more ethical way and consider the outcome of the decision and apply them when I'm entering the future workforce. Lastly, I learned that it's important as a graduate to ask questions before making decisions or doing things as it helps with a better understanding more than just assumptions before making decisions. Thanks everyone, that's all from my side. I have gained valuable knowledge and lessons from this great experience of this roleplay. Thank you.